Hi everybody, Dr. Colleen Sierra here. I am the founder and executive director of Sierra Center for Behavioral Health, talking to you today about self-care during the holidays. Now stay with me. I know I said self-care and I know it's an overused term, but part of what I want to do today is kind of redefine how we think about self-care and reprioritize it, because the holidays, while they can be lovely and magical and full of joy and fun and family and all that good stuff, they can also come with a fair amount of stress. If you're a parent and you're trying to create magic for your children, if you have to spend time with family that stresses you out, if you have social anxiety, there's probably a ton of parties that you're getting invitations for and you have to decide whether you're going to go, and that's not going to be easy for you if you decide to go. So the holidays can be stressful. And I think it's extra important that we think about how do we take really good care of ourselves during this time. That's our theme of the month, but it was hitting home for me this Monday. I was at my dance class, which I absolutely love and is a true form of self-care for me. And I love the instructor. And she said something about, somebody was asking her about her Thanksgiving. And she said it was so great. I felt like I really got to turn off. And, in my head, I'm like, yes, girl, good for you. Wonderful. And then she said something along the lines of, but it's just so hard to come back when we stop. So we should never stop. And I was like, no, because I get what she's saying. It has been a low motivation, sluggish week for me as well, right? I definitely get what she's saying. But the problem is not that we shouldn't, it's not that we should not stop, it's that we should stop more often. We're not stopping enough. And so when we do stop for 5, 4, 3 days, whatever your Thanksgiving break looked like for you, and then we try to come back from that, it is tough because our body needs more than we're giving it. Right? Does that make sense? So that's the real problem, is that we're not stopping enough. And I think part of why we're not stopping enough is because we've got a narrow idea of what self-care means. We have this idea that self-care is spending an hour at the gym 3 to 4 times a week, that self-care is getting a mani and a pedi, which is going to be an hour and a half, or a massage, which is going to be a lot of money and an hour and a half. We've got all these ideas that it's adding something big and time-consuming and possibly expensive to our plate, when that's not. I mean, those things can be self-care. Those things are lovely. That can absolutely be a part of how you take care of yourself. But self-care is also, especially in the way that I want to talk about it today, slowing down. It's taking things off of your plate. And the way that I want to specifically talk about it today is about turning off your nervous system, giving your nervous system a chance to regroup, to get back to status quo, to not be on such high alert all the time. Because for most of us, that's where we live. And I think that's especially where a lot of us live this particular month, is we just live up here, which is really bad for our bodies, because we can't live up here for too long. That takes such a tremendous amount of energy and physiological resources to live up there, that what happens is if we don't take a break from living up here, our body decides, and so we crash. And crashing can look like depression, low mood, low energy, low motivation, a feeling of being numb or burnt out. Crashing, being up here and then crashing down often negatively impacts our immune systems. It leaves us open to infection and disease and bacteria. So this up here crash is so bad for our bodies, let alone our mental health, that we need to work on finding middle ground. That we live up here less, that we catch that ascent quicker and kind of bring ourselves down, or if we can't help but live up here because of the current chapter that we're in our lives, that we work really hard to bring ourselves down in a mindful and deliberate way. I was at a recent trauma training, and the instructor was talking to us about trauma and our nervous systems. And he said, you know, in our society, we teach all these ways for people to deal with their exhaustion, with that crashing experience, but we don't teach them how to turn their engines off. And I think that's really going to be my focus. So I hope that resonates with you. If it does, I want to hear about it. Please comment on this post and let me know how this is resonating for you, how that shows up in your life. You know, for me, before I knew anything about this, in college and graduate school, I would be up here in finals week. I'd be writing papers, I'd be studying for exams, I'd be taking exams. And the minute it was done, I would get sick. And that was my body's way of forcing me to slow down because I wasn't slowing myself down. So that's how it shows up for me. How's it showing up for you? I would love to hear. And then tune in next Thursday because I'm going to talk about some specific things that can help you guys slow down, turn the engine off before your body is deciding for you. So hope that was helpful. Thanks, guys.